What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, Shakur Stevenson is now undefeated 3-division champion, former unified WBC, WBO super featherweight world champion, and Olympic silver medalist. He won the World Boxing Council, better known as the WBC title last night, that was vacated by undefeated, undisputed, now formerly undisputed lightweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is now junior welterweight title contender, Devin the Dream Haney. He beat Edwin Dela Santos unanimous decision in an unimpressive performance. And Shakur Stevenson knows that he's now 21 wins, no loss, no draw, 10 wins by way of knockout. He is 26 years of age, 5'8", with a 68-inch arm reach. More importantly, he's a southpaw, right? Shakur Stevenson, it was said that he injured his left hand in training camp going into this fight with Edwin Dela Santos. And now Shakur Stevenson admitted that he did injure his hand after he did multiple interviews, and he was asked about it on a plethora of occasions. Shakur Stevenson stated that he wasn't going to reveal what took place because the performance itself was underwhelming. And because the performance was underwhelming, many people was questioning what was the reason for that performance. And Shakur Stevenson said he wasn't going to give out no ammunition. But now Shakur Stevenson took to social media and pretty much confirmed that he injured his hand going into the Edwin Dela Santos fight. And he said the one-handed bandit continued to prevail. He won with his jab. One-handed bandit continues to prevail and, keep the hate and dislike coming. That's what Shakur Stevenson stated, right? Now, the thing about this all is that Shakur Stevenson was very defensive-minded, very non-engaged. He didn't want to engage. And we saw this performance when he faced off against Nakatilia, who was a power puncher, and that was back in 2021, right? He had this performance against Nakatilia, and many people, they just absolutely critiqued and condemned Shakur Stevenson for this performance against Nakatilia, right? And the biggest one was Timothy Bradley. That was back in Jeremiah Nakatilia. That was back in June of 2021. Nakatilia is a big puncher, 19 knockouts, and now 27 fights. He's just a big puncher. He's a hard hitter. And Shakur Stevenson, he didn't engage. He refused to engage. And because he didn't engage, many people had an issue with the lackluster performance. It was unentertaining. And now he duplicated that. He replicated that with this performance against Edwin Dela Santos last night, who is a big puncher and a southpaw, right? And so with that said, Shakur Stevenson, now stated that he injured his hand. He's confirmed that he injured his hand. And it said that he injured his hand in sparring some weeks before, 10 days before the fight, so on and so forth. But it wasn't the left hand. It was the mindset that he didn't engage at all with Edwin Dela Santos. He was getting out the way, but he wasn't making him pay. And this is not the first time a fighter has hurt their hand going into a fight or during the fight, right? And we saw nobody gave Mr. Gary Russell Jr., not a single soul gave him a pass for clearly injuring his shoulder in the fight with Mark Maceo, and he was the champion, and he lost his belt. Yet, Gary Russell Jr. clearly injured his shoulder and couldn't perform in that fight. Injured his arm. His arm was null and void. He could not perform in that fight, right? And nobody gave Gary Russell a pass. And he still was being offensive and again, Gary Russell is a southpaw. That's a slick boxer and relies on timing and boxing ability and counterpunch ability and jabs and things of that nature. That's who Gary Russell Jr. is. And yet nobody gave Gary Russell a pass. And he was still throwing combinations And he legit had one arm in that fight. Legit. Didn't injure his hand. His shoulder was null and void, not working at all. And yet Gary Russell was still finding a way to engage and be offensive. Right? He still was engaging, still throwing combinations with one arm. So it's just simply not an excuse. Right? It's a mindset. It boils down to a mindset. And so Shakur Stevenson knows he's not happy with this performance. He knows he's going to get critiqued and criticized for this performance. And he won the title. And Shakur Stevenson knows that, the reins is going to come down with this. And so now Shakur Stevenson is stating that, he understands, that he won this title, the vacant WBC title. And Shakur Stevenson is saying that, it doesn't even matter. The belts don't matter because the belts don't do anything but collect dust. So he's reiterating what one of his idols always says, and that's Floyd Mayweather, that the belts don't matter, just collect dust. When Floyd Mayweather said that, he was already a mega star, a pay-per-view star, beaten multiple world champions, was a 5-division world champion, was a Hall of Famer. Floyd Mayweather was already set in stone. His career was already written. He was just adding to the cherries on top. I continue to tell people this when they say and they reiterate things that Floyd Mayweather says and does. By the time Floyd Mayweather did that and said the belts didn't matter, he already talks about, and his claim to fame is how many world champions he beat, how he beat more world champions than anybody in the history of sport of boxing in less time than anybody. That's one of his arguments for him being and consider himself the greatest fighter ever to fight. Another argument Floyd Mayweather always makes is he's a 5-division world champion and how he started his career and not a big guy. So these are argument points. These are bulletin points that Floyd Mayweather used to debate when people say that he's not the greatest. I beat more world champions than anybody in his, so belts matter then. So yes, belts do collect dust. But like I said, we get it misconstrued. You can accomplish everything Floyd Mayweather accomplished. He accomplished both. So to say belts don't matter is asinine because the belts do matter. That's Floyd Mayweather's claim for his legacy. But in the same token, he made $1 billion in doing so. So the belts can matter at the same time as you building your legacy and making money. You can do both. So with that said, he's saying that, all the belt does is collect dust. It really doesn't matter. He really didn't accomplish much because Shakur Stevenson knows he didn't put his best foot forward. He knows he didn't have his best performance. And so that's hence the reason why Shakur Stevenson is saying, oh, belts don't matter and belts only collect dust, because he knows that performance was disappointing. That's why. Because if he did it in an impressive fashion and earned the belt, he would celebrate the belt. But he knows that he laid an egg because it wasn't what Edwin Dela Santos did or didn't do. It was what Shakur Stevenson didn't do, because he still showed that he was the superior boxer. He was the superior talent. And when he had opportunities to counter Edwin Dela Santos, he didn't take those opportunities, period. And so when people were saying that Shakur Stevenson injured his hand and why didn't he use his left hand, and he said that he's not going to give anybody any bulletin board material and he's not going to, make up no excuses, and he's not going to tell anybody what was wrong, so on and so forth. And now he's saying that he was the one-handed bandit, essentially alluding to you only had one hand. So you confirming that you injured your hand going into the fight with Edwin Dela Santos. But it wasn't the hand injury, it was the mindset in the fight, not to engage. And that's where Shakur Stevenson is disappointed in himself, truly. That's where he truly feels disappointed in himself, that the mindset that he displayed or didn't display in that fight. That's why. So again, Floyd Mayweather injured his hand. Gervonta Tank Davis injured his hand against Isaac Cruz. Floyd Mayweather injured his hand against Diego Corrales and Jose Luis Castillo. Gary Russell destroyed his shoulder and couldn't even throw nothing. Clearly, he had to take a knee and couldn't even lift his arm against Mark Maceo, and still made it a close fight. So again, it's the mindset. They all was engaging offensively. Shakur chose not to. That's a choice. That's a mindset, period. And that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. So all I got for y'all. I'm gone. Peace.